Welcome to Daily Meditation with Sangha Live.
Lovely to be with you again. And I'd like to share or dedicate this week to mindful communication. And I'm actually currently giving a course in German about why communication can be so difficult. And a few of the golden nuggets I want to share with you this week because I find mindful communication to be such an important aspect of our practice and our path. Let me first share a few things about Sangha Live meetings, just in case you hear the very first time. You know the chat box, and that is the place where you can share with each other, be with each other, say hello and good morning to each other, but also share your questions and your concerns and everything which matters to you in these sessions. And if you put anything addressed to me in capital letters, I will be able to find that and to respond to that during our sessions. If I'm not able to respond to everything, I will come back to it within the next days. Okay. What else? I'm gonna give a short impulse, 15 minutes, and then we're gonna practice in meditation with each other. And after that, there will be the opportunity, the possibility for you to share your experience and to, ask questions, raise concerns. Everything is very much welcome. Okay. And what else to mention? Yeah, these sessions are based on donations, and you will find a possibility in the link afterwards to share for financial support for Sangha Live. And a part of that goes to the teachers, a part of that goes to Sangha Live. So there is one way to support Sangha Live and the teachers by doing a donation. Wonderful. I think that's it for the morning. So let's start with some thoughts on the ouch in our relationships. So that's the title for today's session. Our relationships are like everything else we relate to in life, whether it's our body or whether it's the larger world, whether it's our the self, the mind constructs. We sometimes like it, we sometimes don't like it. Whether it's our feelings or basically anything else, there is a certain amount of friction with it, a certain amount of unpleasantness with it, a certain amount of ouch with it. The Buddha calls that dukkha. Yeah. Not to confuse it with the saying everything is dukkha. That's absolutely not the case. The body can be something marvelous, and relationships can be nourishing and beautiful, and so on and so on. But there is a certain amount of tension, friction, robbing, sometimes disappointment in all of that. Yeah, and part of our practice is to learn how to be with that, accommodate that, negotiate that, and almost to discern what is the ouch, which is just woven into the fabric of relating to another being human amongst humans, and what is extra, what can be dealt with and soothed and calmed. And that is a question which asks us a lot of wisdom and a lot of good looking here at times, not easy to see. The beauty about talking about mindfulness of communication this week is that it's not an individual practice. My perception is that there is a huge yearning, a hunger, a thirst within so many of us to be in community, to be together, to come here as a Sangha. And I love the chat box as an example for that, to be in relationship. Yeah. Individual practice is lovely. Sometimes it's lovely to come into on my meditation cushion and practice my practice and just be no one for nobody. And that can be very nourishing and helpful. Yeah. To go into samadhi and how to practice mindfulness and feel also something like self-efficiency and such things. Yeah, very individual aspects of our practice. But mindfulness of communication bridges that and brings it into the larger context. We also, it's not neither either or, it's and. We need the individualistic practice with ourselves and for ourselves. And we also, and that's a basic human need, want to be in contact with each other. We want to connect. We want to be in community. Yeah, that's another basic human need, as much as it is independence and individuality. Yeah. But guess what? Communication is not easy, and being with others is not easy either all the time. We need to communicate. It's one of our basic tools to create relationship. We need to communicate to talk about our needs. Yeah, I need that. I need this. Body, heart, and mind constantly need something and want something and desire something. And we use the mouth to express that. You also use our speech to share experience. Yeah, share experience about something really beautiful. And that can be sometimes, dare I use the word magic? I do courses where I invite people to share about their an experience which made them happy. Yeah. And it's beautiful because then the happiness spills over, and talking about happiness can make other people happy as well. So they come back from their small groups where they practice mindful expression and mindful listening with a smiling face. We need communication to express our feelings. Yeah. Saying, oh, this is how we would be almost prisoned in if we couldn't express ourselves. Just me. Yeah. And that room almost feels like too small. I want to express. Yeah. I want to bring this into the word, and we do so either with our hands or we do so with our language. And that is why communication is a beautiful part of us, and it needs to be trained. Yeah. If communication is not trained, not cultivated, it can do all sorts of things. And this doing all sorts of things brings me to something the Buddha said. He said there are three roots, let's say, core dynamics of all struggle, of all challenge, of all yuckiness, which the human heart might also is capable to express. The human is neither good nor bad, the Buddha says, but it has three roots, deeply grounded roots, which cause a lot of struggle for ourselves and others. And we find them in our personal psychodynamic. We find them also in relationship with others. And quite a few of you will be familiar with these three terms. They are called, how is the usual translation? Hatred, greed, hatred, and delusion. Yeah. A bit more than that. Need to refine that a bit, but let's look at them in terms of our relations. There is one dynamic which is called dosa, which I like to translate as aggression. There is a basic sense of pushing away that which we don't want. And we do that in relationships. Any power struggle in a relationship, any situation where one talks or behaves in a way which is based on a sense of putting pressure on the other to give in or to give, there is dosa. So if we do not cultivate our communication and not cultivate ways to communicate our needs and negotiate our needs, we might use dosa, we might use power and aggression to push for what we want. And the other person is diminished to something as a hindrance and an obstacle to what I want. Yeah, there is no other anymore. There's just this hindrance, and I'll push against the hindrance. Think about everything which I mentioned as much as a dynamic you experience within yourself, as much as an experience which you perceive coming from another. It's true both ways. Same is true for lopal, which is getting what we want. Yeah, it's not always greed. Yeah, I know a lot of you lovely people, and it's not always that we're greedy, but there is the urge in the mind. Oh, I need to get what I want. I need, sometimes the mind says, I need this in my life, or I need that person in my life. I need, and I can't be without. And the urge, the search which comes out of that, that can be quite strong. Yeah. So no power would be this grasping, this pulling in, yeah, to get what we want from the other, or the other, him or her or themselves, yeah, get them. And the last one is moha, and moha is a form of confusion, ignorance, blindness, and unclarity. Yeah, not really seeing what is going on, not really paying full, honest attention to what is going on either with ourselves, and that also happens in relationships. No clear me, no clear you, no clear other, but a lot of fixed views, opinions, impulsive dynamics, and so on. That would be moha. So we have what we look to in an individual practice. We all see the same basic dynamics in relationships as well. And I love that about communication practice. It brings the whole practice away for just always around me and myself and I, which has its aspects, but it enlarges it and broadens it and widens it and see, what about us? What about us? And if I go into the us, you and me and we, there are regular moments of ouch in our relationships. Yeah, there is dukkha. And dukkha is not like only the traumatic experience with the other and the obvious aggression and the obvious wanting something from me. It's also like only those light limitations. Yeah. Coming home from a day of work and meeting your significant other, or meeting the significant smaller beings on the planet, younger beings on the planet, the pets even, and just noticing my heart is having these needs, this frequency, this vibe, and the other just doesn't vibe with that. He, she, them, they are somewhere else, and we do not fully meet in contact. And sometimes the heart sighs and said, it would have been so lovely to be met right now. Yeah. And I don't feel fully seen, fully heard. These sentences, when someone comes and says, don't feel fully seen, fully heard, that is part of the dukkha for me, to say, oh, I wish someone would be in the right causes and conditions to be here and present with me. I have a hunger for that. And sometimes we go to the people we think should be capable of nourishing that hunger, and they're just not in that place. Oh, ouch. Isn't that a small form of ouch? I find the ouches everywhere. My heart makes ouch when I open the door for someone and they just don't realize. My heart makes ouch when I prepare a mindful conversation and the people just go off. And I go off. I do as well. On the sideline, and we end up in an entanglement anyways. Ouch, ouch, ouch with each other. Yeah. And sometimes the conclusion which comes from that is to say, okay, I've had it. Let me be a monk or a nun, and let me get a single hut, and let me go to the jungle or a cave or anywhere where those complicated others are not. Yeah. Or where I'm not in contact with people, because the complication seems to arise within me as soon as I'm in contact with others. Yeah. And I find that almost a bit sad, yeah, because there is the assumption there is something wrong. Yeah. Why is it so complicated? And I don't know about you, you can tell me back later, but to almost accept the complication as part of the soup. Yeah. Soothes my heart mind to say it's never gonna be easy with others. Yeah. It's not gonna be only sad and complicated and tragic and dramatic and disappointing. No, there are going to be lots of beautiful, nourishing, beneficial moments as well. But there will be, for the rest of them, time with others, friction. Yeah. And it's okay. It's not a mistake. It's not a failure. not showing that you haven't done enough or understood enough or not wise enough, to say, wow, that's just part of being human amongst humans. Yeah. And I know I practice mindful communication for so long now. And I just find again and again situations where I really have to learn, sit myself down and learn how am I going to handle this, and have a conversation later at work today where I'm just like perfect timing, sit down in my chair, give some thought, go as prepared and nourished in this conversation as I can, and notice and know there will be some ouch around that, no matter how well prepared I am, no matter what good intentions I bring to the table. Problems haven't dissolved with the time of practice, but I can notice myself approaching it differently than I had before. And that is the blessing of the practice. Yeah. And the cultivation we do in mindful communication. This is why I do this whole preparational speech before we go into more detailed dynamics of conflict, is that we need a lot of compassion. Yeah. We can do mindful communication practice, but let's be very clear that the ideal of no conflict, no disharmony, no misunderstandings, no emotional outbreaks will not manifest. So we need a lot of compassion. Just to say, being human amongst humans is not easy, and it's not going to be easy ever. Yeah. It can be beautiful at times. It should be beautiful at times. And it will not always be easy, especially in a world, let me add that sentence, where mindful communication doesn't have priority, where those 3 words of power to get what I want, urge to get what I want, yeah, and a lot of confusion, fixed mirrors, polarization is nourished rather than an emphasis on we all need to learn. We definitely all need to learn how to communicate wisely. Yeah. So we need the compassion, and we need to continue our training and practice. I notice sometimes a temptation to drop the call, yeah, to drop the call with people in general, to say, well, I'm just not made for this, yeah. Or sometimes we think very silently for ourselves, the others are not made for this. But to reframe it as practice situations, this too is a practice situation. The outcome might not be ideal. I might not get what I want. I might not have clarity or anything, but I might take something away from that situation. Yeah. And to call it a practice situation. Let me learn from this. Let me learn from that. Yeah. And so maybe to wrap it up, mindful communication is not about ideal outcomes of communication. Yeah. But it's a form of, and I love that image because it makes it easier for me on the heart. It's a caretaking for the situation. I'm showing up, and by practicing mindful communication to the degree I'm able to, I take care of the situation rather to give in. And they are always there, these 3 words, into this urge to push, to pull, or to go off into narratives and fixed views. Yeah. Being present and caretaking for a conversation is a whole different intention we bring to it. So before we go into meditation, may you remember today to wrap yourself in compassion when you are a human among humans. Yeah. Maybe to wrap the others a bit in compassion as well, because we sometimes just do not seem capable to utter what we actually want to utter. Those other dynamics, they can be so strong. Mm. And second is to really see and learn and be curious about this practice. Yeah. What is my way of caretaking of this situation today? Yeah. Good. Now let's shift the gear and let's go into mindfulness meditation practice. And maybe we start a bit off with compassion this morning. We can all not have enough compassion. It's one of the endless qualities, the Buddha said. So find yourself a posture, and you might want to lie down again, or you might want to stand up, or you might want to walk around or sit down. That's up to you. And give your mind some time to dissolve the words. Everything which was important to you under these circumstances will stick, and everything else is free to go again. See if it would feel appropriate to give some weight to the earth. Maybe there's some bracing, some holding, which can soften. If you notice that the mind is jumping ahead into this day, potentially into meetings and seeing that person getting this done, you might really want to open your eyes again and relocate yourself. I'm here. Dear heart, dear body, dear mind, we're still here on this cushion in this room. Let me find some refuge, some stillness, a pause in the here, in the now. You might notice a lot of activity, maybe in the body. This is itching, that is tight, that makes itself known. Here something is asking for attention and care. What if this is the whole echo of the last day and days of your meetings, of your being with others, being touched by others? And we can gently, kindly approach that and not dissolve it, make it go away forcefully, but more listen to it. Saying, dear body, you are carrying the echo of all the past days. The caring, compassionate mindfulness listens, just listens, no need to change anything, analyze anything, just listen. On the dear thinking mind, it might be very active as well. Might either try to make sense of the past by understanding the past, trying to avoid further dukkha and ouches. Or it might run into the future and try to avoid the ouches there. Let me make a plan. Let me figure out what to do so I can protect you. So, dear thinking mind, I appreciate your care and your energy. But right now, what about resting? Just these 20 minutes of rest, and then you can do your thing. And with this invitation, we can invite the bracing and the tension, the activation in the head, in the face, everything which is related to thinking. Invite that to soften, calm. And there can at times only be so much calm, so much clarity, and the rest will be echo. You might feel it in the body, echo to this experience and the experiences before, echo in the mind, echo in the heart. And courage, just allow time to bounce against the walls of experience, like echoes do, forth and back and forth and back. And just be the mindful vessel for it to slowly come to stillness. And sometimes it can be very compassionate to turn towards your own sensitivity and let yourself know that being with all this echo, this urge, this push, this pull, this drowsiness, this tiredness, those narratives and stories, that is not easy to hold all that, to be even present for all that. And wow, there's a lot to hold at times. Sometimes it's not easy to be with this body or this heart or this mind. I acknowledge the challenge of what it means to be mindful and listen inwardly. And let's just see whether we can expand our hearts to each other this morning. You might not know a single person from those 119 online with you, and yet we know a whole lot about each other. Some of us will sit here this morning disappointed by a relationship or very hungry hearts to be in contact and in connection. Some might have been touched in the past and not trust fully in the safety and in the nourishment of relationships. Some might go through conflict with a significant other or at work. Whatever your theme is, it will be echoed by many, many in this community and Sangha. So if you like, you can invite your heart to expand to those who go through similar things. And the one thing is we know is that we're not alone. We're definitely not alone with our struggles and challenges. not a personal failure, but something very human we all go through. And just see whether you can take some warmth, some softness, some idea of support away from being in this Sangha, in this community, to say, I know your struggle. I've been through that, or I am in it with you. If you would be talking to me about this, I could relate, I could understand. And then gently let that reflection drop or dissolve slowly, move into the background and come back into this body, sitting, standing, lying or walking, moving. And we take some more moments to listen again, listening to the echo which is present now. And then gently and slowly bring the attention into your feet or hands and start moving them slow, gentle movements, which turn into a form of stretching, moving, sighing, nourishing breathing, waking up the body from its still form.
Today's podcast is an offering to you from our archive of freely available live daily classes. We make wisdom teachings and meditations as freely available as possible to as many people as wish to practice. You can help ensure we can continue to support a worldwide Sangha by leaving a review wherever you get your podcasts, by sharing this with someone who'd be interested, and by offering a small financial support at sangha.live/donate.